Hi, my name is Ryan Reynolds, and I feel philodendrous.
Oh my God.
About being Conan O'Brien's friend. Little Who's Harry Crumb reference there for you.
Yes, philodendrous, look it up. Look it up!
I believe he says philodendron, but that didn't work.
So you changed it to philodendrous.
Correct.
You know what you are?
Yes, and I'm sorry.
You're a son of a bitch.
Oh, I am.
Hey there, and welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. And I do. I need a friend. It's never too late to become my chum, joined by Sona Movsesian. How are you, Sona? Good to see you.
I'm doing all right.
You're doing okay?
Yeah.
And Matthew Gorley.
Hi.
And Sona, quickly, we should address the fact that you did lose your house in the fire, but you guys have found a new place that you might be moving into.
We have, yeah. In fact, I was there yesterday for an inspection, and I ran into a really nice man named Richard walking his dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I usually listen to you while I'm walking my dog. And,
wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I get to live by a fan.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, well, you hesitated for a second.
No, I mean, like,
there's a lot of people.
It's good. It's a good thing. Like he's really nice, and it's a really nice place. And I'm excited not to live at my mom and dad's house.
Yeah, that sounded like. I mean, I love your mom and dad, but it can be difficult to live with your parents.
Yes.
Not meant to at a certain point.
Nope.
I'm guessing. Is it Nadia? Is it your mom who can she can wear on you a little bit sometimes?
Yeah, she can. Yeah.
She means well. She's well intentioned.
They are unbelievably so nice to let us stay there. But they watch a lot of Turkish soap operas.
What?
Yeah, it's like all day. I mean, not all day, but it's like a lot of Turkish because they're from Turkey. They're Armenian. It's important to note that, but they're from Turkey.
But wait a minute, where does one get? Because I'm constantly looking for Turkish soap operas.
I got a guy. You need some? I'll get you some.
Do you really?
No.
You know what's up? YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so they watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you follow the stories?
No, I don't watch it with them. I'm in my room watching TV on my laptop, like a
You're
dork.
watching The Pit or something like Current.
I got really into The Pit lately. Yeah.
Do you ever? I mean, I'd just be curious. What happens in a Turkish soap opera? Are they the same kind of model as every soap opera everywhere? It's just it's Turkey.
I think the lighting is different. They're all gorgeous and have beautiful skin,
Mm-hmm.
and then they
Eduardo, you want to jump in
feels very
here?
dramatic.
I'm only familiar because my mom watches a Turkish novella. It's basically a Turkish soap opera, but the Spanish channels have put subtitles and there's people speaking in Spanish over them. And I asked her where they were from. She's like, oh, it's in Turkey. So they're popular, I guess.
Yeah, there's certain countries that have dominated. Like Korean soap operas are legit too.
My mother-in-law watches those.
Yeah.
Oh, really? And in my travel shows, whenever we can, I try to do a local soap opera.
Yeah.
And we've done them in a bunch of countries. And I cannot tell you how many times someone from Mexico has said, I look familiar to them. Or they kind of know who I am, but they're not sure. And I say, I'll show you who I am. And I call up when I was on the telenovela.
Yeah.
That was in the Mexico City episode. And I show it to them, and they always enjoy it because I'm speaking Spanish the whole time, my version of Spanish.
Yeah.
And I love it because I have a mustache.
Oh, yeah. You always have a mustache.
I always try and have a mustache.
That's good.
And try and exude authority. But I love being in foreign soap operas, and I realize I haven't done a Turkish soap opera. I'd love to be in one.
Yeah.
No, you don't seem thrilled about it.
I think you could do it. You could do it.
I did an Armenian show.
Yeah, you did.
What, was it a crime show? I played a crime boss.
You played a crime boss. First of all, they tried to make you look Armenian, and it did not work.
Oh, that's right. I don't know what they did to me, but they painted dark wrinkles on me or something.
They put dark eyebrows then they put a dark wig on you.
Yes, and on the palest man in the world.
Yes.
They gave me jet black, curly hair, and a crazy eyebrows. And I'm a drug lord.
Yeah, and you just
Kingpin.
ordered guys to beat up another person.
Yes, and I had to say it in Armenian, which was very
Do you
difficult.
remember your line?
No, I don't remember.
Hedike or Hedika, which
What's that?
means enough.
Hedika, they were beating him up, and I said enough. Hedika.
Yeah, and then you had a cigar in your hand.
I had a cigar in my mouth, and I just sort of was trying to be like the Tony Soprano of Yerevan, Armenia. But I have to say, done it in the new Max series for the second season. I did a medical drama.
Oh.
Like their version of The Pit.
Yeah.
I did a medical drama. It was in New Zealand.
Oh.
And I'm really excited for that to come out because I had to know all of this. They gave me an impossible amount of medical jargon because I think they really wanted me to fuck up badly.
Did you do American accent or New Zealand?
I didn't attempt the accent.
Yeah.
I did not. So sorry for that. But I think I did nail the medical jargon.
Do you remember your lines?
No, I don't remember my lines.
Oh. Did you guys ever watch American soap operas?
I did for a summer or two.
Me too.
Yeah.
My friend once lied to us when we were like 12 and said she made out with Austin Peck from Days of Our Lives, and we believed her. So we watched Days of Our Lives, and then we found out she didn't ever make out with Austin.
How old was she at the time?
She was like 14.
So he'd be under arrest.
But we didn't think of it that way. We're like, oh my God, she made out with Austin Peck, but she just lied to us. Just blatantly lied to us. And we believed her. And we all got into Days of Our Lives to support the guy that she made out
To
with.
support him?
Oh, wait, so how old was he at the time?
He must have been in his 20s. I have no idea. He had no idea who she was.
What an interesting, so she just stuck with this lie.
Just lied about it. And
Do you
were
still
like,
talk to her?
No, that broke everything up.
Oh, yeah. You could,
I wonder
she
how
lied
she's
about
doing.
a lot of stuff. She also lied. She said she was a model, and we were like, you're 5'2", but okay. Like, we believed everything she said. I don't believe
I wish
anybody
I had known you
now.
then because you were very gullible.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, can you give me some money? I'm an ATM. And I ran out. Okay, you don't look like an ATM.
I don't remember having to put cash into an ATM, but okay.
I guess they do have to be restocked. But you do have arms and legs and a head. Well, anyway.
I'm a baby that only eats wallets.
They're just so gullible. It wasn't just me. It was like my friend group.
But you're unfailingly honest. You didn't lie?
No, what do you mean? Lie about what?
You're a very honest person. So there are kids that will just say stuff. Like my brother Neil, growing up, he went to a different school than I did, and he would come home and he would just... I'd say, what did you learn today? And he'd say, oh, today we learned. And then he would just tell me things that were completely untrue. And I was just a little kid, so I believed him.
Yeah.
And you'd take them back to school thinking you knew some
Yeah,
stuff?
I'd say, my brother said...
Like, he's so cool.
Yeah. He told me, oh, today we learned that there's a hole that they found in the earth, and they lowered a camera in it, and it went to the center of the earth, and they took a couple of pictures with it.
Luke.
Then they felt a tugging on the line, and they pulled it up, and the camera was all mangled, but they were able to develop the film, and they could see a T-Rex charging. And I was like, what? And he went, yeah, proof that there's a T-Rex at the center of the earth. And Neil's a couple of years older than me and knew better.
Oh, Neil did this.
This is Neil. Yeah. No, Luke was always like a priest. He was just really good and like, well, I wouldn't tell an untruth. Neil would just fuck with me all the time. He told me so many lies and still does. I talk to him every day. He's always lying to me.
Did you do that though to Justin?
No, I didn't lie.
Did.
No, I didn't lie to Justin. Justin was 10 years younger than me. He was a little kid. And so what I did to Justin was just broke his mind with strange games. So he just wanted to play cops and robbers. And I would say,
right.
yeah, I told you this, right? Yeah. And I would just tangle him up in paperwork. You drew your pistol.
Funny.
You drew your pistol. And he'd be like, what? You drew your pistol. There's paperwork. And I would get pads of paper from my dad's office. You need to fill out forms. It's a bureaucracy. That's a big part of being a cop.
That's worse than what Neil did to you, I think.
My neighbor saw The Shining before I did and told me about it, recounted it, and completely lied about it. And then when I saw it, was just forever wondering where. He said that Jack Nicholson got his arm cut off, and you know how a human can grow an arm back. He grows an arm back and all this stuff. And I just was expecting...
Was it a kid?
It was a kid, yeah. He was my age.
Oh, that's okay. Kids are just crazy. I think it's okay if you're a kid. I just for a moment I pictured like a 35-year-old neighbor, and then it's time to call somebody.
Wait, why are you guys getting on my case about believing that my friend made out with Austin Peck when you guys believed all this shit your brothers and your friend told you?
Good point.
You know
we were
what?
all dumb.
Can I say something? You just stood up for yourself in a way that I thought was deserved.
Yes,
and
thank you.
And I don't know. I still think you're dumb, but
yeah. It doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change
It's
anything.
impressive what you did.
Yeah,
But
I think of the three of us.
It's
you're
crazy that you believed that girl.
It is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get this podcast going. my guest today. I am thrilled he's here. He starred in the Deadpool films and the FX series Welcome to Wrexham, which returns for a 4th season on May 15th. I am absolutely delighted he's here today. He's an incredibly talented screen actor, television actor, but also one of the funnier people you will run into in life.
Yeah.
He's crazy talented and a good soul. Ryan Reynolds, welcome.
You didn't
No,
leave
you
the
gotta
pause.
Oh, sorry.
Let's keep this.
What did I do wrong?
You didn't leave the pause. We talked about this last episode. Before
Oh,
you say the
right.
name, you're supposed to.
I think I'm just excited that Ryan's here.
I understand. And I
know.
should have told you literally 7 years ago when we started this podcast. But
He was 15.
But you did remind him right before we started recording.
Yeah, but you know what you have to do is you have to hold up a sign that says pause because I'm a busy man.
Okay.
And I get excited when it's Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
All right, let's give you the pause.
All right.
I'm thrilled he's here today. Ryan Reynolds, welcome.
Oh, the mouth noises.
Oh, man, I do a lot of traveling.
Yeah,
you know that I
you
do the
do.
travel shows.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing quite like the feeling of an upgrade when you're traveling. Well, as a T-Mobile customer, you can take the perks with you.
That's good.
Isn't that nice? It starts the moment you take off with free in-flight Wi-Fi so you can stream your favorite show on the go. Obviously, that would be this show, I would think.
Yeah. You go in a plane and then you stream your podcast?
If I'm anxious about a flight, the thing that calms me is seeing myself. And then when you land, T-Mobile's got you covered with 15% off all Hilton brands. Did you know that?
No.
Yep. Plus, you're covered with 5 gigabytes, count them 5, of high-speed data in over 215 countries and destinations with Go 5G Plus or Next plans. And I have to tell you, it's a nice feeling when I travel the globe for my travel work. I like to know that when I land in that other country, I'm covered. I'm there.
Yeah.
I can text you and say, hey, I got here safely.
Yeah.
I forgot to feed my cat. Could you feed my cat?
Oh, yeah.
You could remind me I don't have a cat.
Right.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah. You FaceTimed me before from another country and it was crisp. She was clear.
Yep. You could see every mark on my face. Find out how you can experience travel better at T-Mobile.com/travel. Qualifying plan required. Wi-Fi where available on select U.S. airlines. Terms and conditions apply. I have to say, and there's no rhyme or reason to these interviews, but I've talked to you about this a while ago. Just Friends. I watched that with my wife. It was a movie that may have been mismarketed. I don't understand. It came out, didn't make a big splash. One of my favorite Christmas comedies. It has so many hilarious performances in it, and then we showed it to our kids.
Oh,
and
so good.
I mean, but everybody. It is a relentlessly funny movie. And I remember telling you a bunch of years ago, I swear to God, that movie will endure. It's gonna stick around. And
Well, you don't know
Yeah.
about those kinds of movies. I mean, you never know. You never know when you're making it. You're going like, oh, this is going to work. This is not going to work. You could, when you're older, I think you can trust your experience and your instincts that line up. But then when you're older, you also go, nobody knows anything. So, but Just Friends, we shot in Regina, Saskatchewan. It's one of my few times that I've ever been scared of like going to jail because we, just as a joke, me and the art department, we made a sign that would would snap over the Welcome to Regina sign. And it just said, Welcome to Regina, which rhymes with fun. And I got in trouble though.
You got in trouble?
But then they thought it was funny because it snapped off. So at first it was vandalism.
Right.
And then it was class.
Then it was an art installment that could come down.
Yeah. And I come from RCMP. My brother is currently an RCMP officer. I always say, you guys should just say agent. It sounds better. You're an RCMP agent.
Isn't that Royal Canadian Mounted
Sure
Police?
is. Yeah.
I believe I was a Royal Mounted Policeman in Canada. We did a week of shows in Toronto a long time ago, and one of the remotes I shot, I either was sworn in temporarily or we just stole the costume. Either way, I operated at the border. I threw snowballs at people trying to come in and out of Canada dressed in that outfit. And man, I've never felt
Power.
more power in my life.
And polite.
And polite.
Yep.
I had pancakes in my pocket.
Oh my God!
Instead of a gun.
Yep. Yes. Exactly.
Syrup, little cartridges of syrup.
Yeah. My dad used to bust guys with confetti. He would just like walk up and throw the confetti at you. And it's always fun when you and your brother have 3 older brothers. So it's just mayhem. It's actual mayhem. I mean, this is a horrible situation because I'm the youngest, so I'm the moving target. They're brothers. I'm just the moving target or harvestable organs. And we would. But as I got older, we would get out on the lawn, and it would be like an old fashioned like Tom Cruise and Far and Away with the knuckles up, and we would just beat the living shit out of each other.
Yes.
The neighbor would call the cops, and the cop would be my dad. And that's not a cop we wanted to mess with.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but my dad got out of copping. He wasn't big on the truth, so I don't know why. He got out of copping and then became a food broker, which we're like, come on, that's what? CIA, right?
Yes.
And he's like, no, I really am a middleman for jars of jam. And tiny yogurts.
What? He works for Meghan Markle.
Yes.
Really tiny jams, harvestable jams.
Yes, exactly.
Made from the oils of Montecito.
If Jimbo Reynolds wasn't dead, I would say he is Meghan Markle. Adjacent.
Many people have likened the two. There's so much to talk about here. I am thrilled that you've come on the pod. And you fascinate me and anger me and enrage me.
Yep.
Because you have the leading man looks and all the abilities that come with being a movie star. But when you send me a text, it is one of the funniest written texts that I've received. And I read, you blasted me a couple of weeks ago with these texts, and I was reading them, and I thought, this is a Class A comedy writer.
Wow.
You have a comedy writer's brain.
That took me 41 days to compose that one. And it was a just in case. Before that, I had no idea I was going to be on the show.
I could tell it took a long time to compose.
Also,
you said day 9 at one point. You broke up the sentences.
Day 9. Me, Wilson, you. I basically, I think it was about like the, dwindling licensing rights at the Academy Awards show. And how the fate of the future of film and television, of course, is on your shoulders. Please don't fuck this up. There are a few 100,000 people who are like, very selfish and dependent upon, food and shelter.
Yes.
Adequate medical attention.
I was reading this thing, and I don't ever do this, but you sent me this really funny, and my son loves your work, really loves Deadpool. And he is a 19-year-old gentleman. And I just said, I never do this, but read this email. And he was laughing out loud.
Oh, that's great.
No. I mean, just it's really funny because I don't know you're in a class by yourself of people that can, I think, work both ends of that spectrum.
It's lonely at the top.
Oh, I know.
I know you know. We're up there together just holding each other.
I'm at a different top.
Oh, sorry.
You're at the big top.
Yeah.
You're at that top.
I thought
you're at the top of like Everest.
Oh.
I'm at the top of a hill.
An anthill.
Oh, no, Sona.
I'm in the prairies, Canada. I'm in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, where the tallest hill is a curve.
Kids can sled on my hill that I stand atop.
I can see my house from the curve. Well, that's a very kind thing.
No. I know you're not going to like a compliment, but your facility, and also it's so perfect. I know it took you forever to get Deadpool made, and there's a whole saga of you saying, I know how to do this. This needs to be a movie, and I can't believe it took so long to make. But the Deadpool's facility with language and his sort of it's not just physical rubber man quality, but also the verbal alacrity you have to have. You've got that, and I'm thinking that's because your brothers beat you.
Yes.
Because I had older brothers too that beat me.
Yes.
And I don't have as much of it as you. They weren't as strong as your brothers, and my dad was a microbiologist, so he couldn't.
Fuck off.
So I'm saying he couldn't come in with that heavy cop energy. My dad came in every now and then with like a slide of a paramecium, and he'd say, "Now that's enough of that.
Yes.
I'll release this paramecium.
Spare the rod. Spoil the child with paramecium."
So what I'm saying is, you developed
You evolved into a higher being because you had more to contend with. That's what I say to you, sir.
I have exited some rooms through drywall. I'll say that. And my father was, he was definitely very. Well, I'm just going to say it, emotionally abusive, but no, he was
Jesus.
No. My dad was, it's actually odd because my dad was tough and he was very, very like coiled. And I think as you get older, and he's passed away for, I don't know, 10 years now or so, cause of death uncertain. No, he died of something tragic. But anyway, it was.
How do you get laughs with that line?
You shouldn't.
He died of something tragic. Big laugh from this side of the room.
Out of trust, I'm going to leave a large air hole now. Okay, and as I was saying, he was. The story changes when people pass away too. It's like your memory becomes like a less of a reliable narrator, and it becomes more of a feeling. Like I was saying, I'm pushing 50 here. I've had some experience. Under my belt, and I'm listening to. I'm realizing I don't know as much now. Mm-hmm. As I thought I did then. Yeah. So when I think about my dad and I think about how I internalized, however he was raising me and the other brothers and certainly his relationship with my mom, it's not what I started asking myself, is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true? Was he really that? Or was that more romantic to think of it like that? And he was not great in some ways. And in other ways, he was great. Like he really was. And I think it just, in time, that changed. When you die, they will love you.
We don't have to worry about that. We will not have to worry about that for 4 years. Yeah. So let's just settle down, everybody.
It's going to be like an ex-president. He's going to have a huge effigy built. The Conan O'Brien Library of the Bruce Valanche log of the Conan O'Brien Bruce Valanche Bible.
Yeah, he'll be giving the tours.
Oh God, yeah.
No, it's interesting you say that because I have the same experience. First of all, my therapist would say your dad did the best he could. Yes. And then I would say to my therapist, no, he didn't.
Oh, wow. See, I'd cry.
And then we'd fight. But let that sit for a second. Your dad did the best he could, given what he had.
Yeah, he did. But he really did. My dad's dad would come home from his job. He was like a city councilman in Alberta and then moved to British Columbia. They bought their house for, I don't know, like a half glass of water and spit and like lived in this house. But he would get out there and mow the lawn after work and he'd take his jacket off, not his tie, and he would fold his shirt up one cuff and then mow the lawn. Like this is not a man who knows how to fuck. So, like very like conservative, right? I mean, very conservative.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe
every sperm is sacred.
Put up one and then the other and then jackhammer.
A Makita power drill.
I mean, I'm saying
a
lot of people assume I might fall in that category, but what I do is I put one and then I put the other up, loosen the tie a little.
And I show them how the Vikings took Iceland. No. So that's where
is that how they did it?
Yeah. It's every bully has a bully, right? And, so he had those elements, but he showed up. He once went a long, long time without speaking to me. And it was over something trivial and dumb. But he would never miss a game. Never miss a football game, never miss a baseball game. Always there for a catch, even though it would be silent and super fucking awkward. He would do it. Yeah. And he had that guy had a right arm that you would not believe. Yeah. He broke the little bone in my finger. I had to switch to a catcher's mitt. And he did that underhand. Like, what? So when people are like, oh, that's a softball question, I was like, have you ever fucking caught a softball from Jim Reynolds? No, you haven't. So shut up about that sport. God, if pickleball were around, there'd be a lot of dead people. But no,
So my question is, did your dad get, obviously, I think the answer is yes. He must have seen your career blow up. And was it unalloyed joy or was it complicated?
No, it was joy once I kind of, in his, whatever his measure of making it means, then it was.
Yeah.
Except, He didn't go to university, but he didn't talk about that. He had Parkinson's. He said the word Parkinson's maybe 3 times in his life. Also former boxer, former who knows what, So he was very reserved with that, with praise, which is why I have an insatiable desire for validation. So we can unpack that later. Never. I love you guys. You don't need that.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. As someone who has no need for validation.
Absolutely not. But he would, when I quote unquote made it, I think then he accepted it. He's very bummed that I didn't go to university. I did though. I'm not making this up. I went for 45 minutes. I wanted to meet the one teacher. He was like a guy that Dr. McLean was his name. He got his doctorate in prison. He was, I think, a Hell's Angel or something, but went to jail for 20 years or something, long time. But got his education in jail and became an author and wrote a book. And I read this book. I went there. I met him. Beautiful, lots of prison tattoos, but also beautiful pastel sweater. And then I walked back out the door of Kwantlen Polytechnic University in British Columbia, and I drove to Los Angeles.
So you went in knowing I'm going to meet this one gentleman, and then I'm turning around and I'm going to Los Angeles.
Yes.
Okay, so you knew.
Yeah. Well, no. I really knew once I was inside. I just thought, I'm not ready for this. Like, I don't think I can do this. I only had one brother who really was adamant about going to university, and it stressed the hell out of him. And I just thought, I don't want to be a food broker. So, and my dad did it without a university education. So,
did you do Groundlings when you got to LA? I think
I did do Groundlings, but I moved to LA to be in Groundlings. And I, of course, it doesn't work like that. You don't just show up and go, ready for the main stage, everyone. I can give you strides, I can give you everything you want. No, you go through the class.
That's what I did.
You did it.
When I showed up in LA and I was like, I'm ready to perform. And they said, you will take these classes.
Yes.
And I said, yes, I will.
Yes, you will.
And I did, but at least I got stage time.
That's the thing.
And got to improvise with some great people.
Well, they're so good. They're all so in shape, and they're like, you know what I mean? That's a muscle, like that kind of ability.
I thought you meant physically.
Physically? No. God, these are comedians.
No, I've never been in shape.
That's what I was
talking about.
Yeah.
No. They get home and just vanish into a jar of something.
But I would think you, as an improviser, that would be. I could see you being devastating as an improviser. I think it would be that'd be your fun space. Just in the times that I've encountered you, we start fucking around instantly, and I could see like, oh, this is someone who wants to play 24/7 is the vibe that you give. I don't know if that's
but
true.
Also I would say that you are a person that does it as well, but you can also pivot quite quickly to something that's emotional, because most people that are funny, I think, have some pretty, they're deeply emotional people as well. I think like comedy and drama subsist on the same thing, tension. Subverting it moves you. And if you have a film that has emotion, then you can, or anything, redemption, call it whatever you want, but it makes all that funny stuff so much more funny and rich and powerful. So I loved Groundlings when I did do their shows. I used to do once in a while, like a Thursday Cooking with Gas show they had. And I would do, I think I did Armando a couple times here. And then I loved it because there was no limit to it. But on a film set, I don't want to, it's almost like method acting. I'm not going to, when people are coming on a film set, a Deadpool film, anything, I'm not going to make my process their process.
Right.
So I'd never want to be that guy. So I always chat and we talk and we say, okay, so how can I help you feel awesome? And even an actor who's a day player who comes in for one day, that's the hardest job in show business, because he's got 2 lines. And he's going to over the fuck do it like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
Because in his mind, there's no small parts, just small actors. I gotta crush the shit out of this. And then if you can make it safe. I always love the...
Your soup, sir!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are going to liquefy you and... I'm going to snort your ashes on the top of the plastivage. Just to say I did it.
Yeah.
But I always say to them when they're leaving, you say, "Hey, look, if there's going to be that moment, you're going to drive home, and when day players, you drive yourself home, if you have to touch everything in the car too, by the way, you're going to get in that car and you're going to go, I should have done that." And then I was like, then we go okay, take 10 minutes and think about what that is, and then let's go do that. And it's like this fun little trick. And then you do that. And then you say, now do the worst version you can do. Like, I'm telling you, you're safe. Would never use the worst version. You trust me. But like, do the worst. And then that's always the take that ends up in the show. Because now you've basically said like, you're as safe as you could ever imagine.
Yes.
And I love that feeling. So I'm not like my improv is like, I've written 10 alts for each joke, but not just for me, but for my co-stars, or and it's here's a menu. Is there anything you'd like here? Wesley Snipes was just like, nope. I was like, you did not read that fast. Come on, this one had a beginning, middle, and end. Like, come on.
Wesley Snipes has gotten pretty far on Nope. You know?
Oh my God. But then he delivered. He was like, I gave him that, this ice skate uphill line. He was like, I'll do it.
There was
great.
You know me, Sona. Sometimes I like to get away from the hustle and bustle of the podcast, the television show for Max, my rock and roll concerts, my modeling gigs. And I like to just disappear, get away for the weekend. And you know what? When I do, I like to think, hey, maybe I could host on Airbnb my place.
Yeah, I think you could.
And then I think, yeah, but it's just covered in pictures of me.
It really is. There's a lot of pictures of you.
Giant paintings of me with various basset hounds I never owned. But you do this all the time.
I do, and I'm actually planning a camping trip to Kern River, and I am going to put my place on Airbnb while I'm gone so I can make a little extra money. And guess what? I just got a sweet new blender, so people staying at my place can use that blender.
That's nice. I bet a lot of people are saying, well, I don't care what kind of place I'm in as long as it has a blender.
Oh, it's an amazing blender for anybody who wants to stay at my place, and I can make a little extra money while I'm out under the stars.
No, it just makes so much sense in these modern times.
It does.
Just think about it. If you host while you're traveling, it's a great way to offset some of the cost of your own trip.
Yeah.
Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. When I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm thinking the credit sequence at the top.
That served 9 purposes pretty much, but yes.
I'm hard pressed to think of how much was packed into one film. Yeah. And to just be watching, so my son and I love that. We were going to that movie and something went awry and we got there and I just said, oh, trust me, we're just going to miss like 2 seconds up top. And I think we missed like 45 seconds of the opening.
That would have hurt. That would have killed me if I knew that.
It killed me to the point that we went back and watched it later on. But it's rare that you can miss 45 seconds of a movie at the top and feel like, oh shit, I missed some sweet, sweet syrup, because the whole thing was jam-packed.
You just missed me singing along to the Marvel theme song. The bum, 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 bum. Marvel, they're so stupid. Give me my own movie. But they were amazing. You could Bob Iger was, he saw the film, and the first time he saw the film, it was in pretty good shape. And he said, you gotta remove the one line, Ryan. And I was like, what line? He's like, you know the line. And I went, Mickey Mouse? He's like, yeah. Yeah, and I was like, but Bob, the whole movie orbits around that line. Like, that line is the film. It's the thrust, the thesis. It's everything.
Right.
And it's because my brain, when he says the one line, is like, precious.
Yes.
Must keep the line. And so I really had to kind of like walk around his office a little bit, do a couple of laps, and then it was fine. We were good. We switched it up. And he just didn't want the Mickey Mouse joke in. And now it got, not because of me, they released the script for like WGA, awards season and stuff. And they just shower these kinds of movies with awards. So, I was dancing behind you and trying to suggest things at the Academy Awards.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
What we're calling the Academy Awards situation.
Yes.
You were in the situation.
I love that nobody knows that when I hosted the Oscars, that really was you as Deadpool.
Oh my God!
No one knows.
Well, yeah. Most would assume arthritis at this stage of the game. Nope. They have pills for that too.
I have a question, which is, you have this skill set. Did you have an idea of what you wanted your trajectory to be? Would you have been happy if TV had hit and that had worked out? Or did you always know, like,
pretty much where you wanted to end up.
Well, it's so different now. It's like now people who are in film are hoping to gain enough respect to get a TV show.
Right. If I could get White Lotus.
Get a limited series.
Yeah.
I know. Everything happened perfectly. My whole career was an aggregate. It was very slow. I never experienced that overnight fame thing. And I honestly think about how lucky I am, because a lot of the guys that I came into the business with are gone. And a lot of them are passed away, or took these tragic turns where you hear about it, one random Wednesday, you're like, what? You just can't.
Wait, these are friends of yours?
Yeah, in Los Angeles, when I first moved here, I lived in East Hollywood, and everyone was partying, everyone was doing, this and that. And it was scary. It's a scary place to, to be young and to have fame and money is a very, very odd combination of things. And I thankfully was so slow with everything. I wouldn't consider I'd sort of hit it in a way. When you asked me earlier, when my dad, he never made it to Deadpool. He never made it to that coming out. He made it to, I was in post-production on October 25th in 2015 when he passed away. It was 3 months earlier. My daughter James is named for him. So he's James Reynolds. James does not like it when I call her Jimbo.
She'll grow to love it.
Or James, yes. I know. And that's our dog, Hawk Tua. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop naming things.
Yeah, don't name anything anymore. Here comes my parakeet Adolf.
Yeah. Oh, God. Poor sons of bitches around that time, right? Who had that, stuck with that name. God damn it. I mean, we had a feeling at his first speech, right? That putsch, the putsch? It was nuts. He went nuts. I don't know what the fuck we were talking about, but
your trajectory, but you just you took it one step at a time.
Yeah, and I think it allowed me to enjoy it, in points. I'm always uncomfortable with the thing that I'm also in pursuant of, right? Your fame is a weird thing. It has a little power to it. It's odd, but I found a way to kind of make myself appreciate that part of it more, because I love acknowledging and playing with the cultural landscape, whether it's in a movie, a commercial, sports. I don't care. I don't discriminate. I love that they're in all those areas. So sharing fame made it way, way less weird for me. When a kid comes up and says, "Can I get a selfie with you?" I'm like, "Who's the most important person in your life?" And they're like, "My dad, Frank." And I'm like, "Video." I switched to video. And I'm like, "Frank, I'm here with." Fuck's your name? No. Will. This is not a hostage situation. He's fine. But you're the most important person in his life. You're the one. You were the phone a friend. That was you. And then you let it go. It takes just a few seconds longer than a selfie.
Yes.
But now it's a fucking memory for them forever. Yeah. And it's a thing that happened. And I walk away feeling good.
It's a great philosophy. Yeah. You will attest. I pursue people who don't want a selfie with me.
Oh, God, yeah.
And say, come on, you're going to like it. It's going to be funny. I've chased children into traffic.
Give me your phone.
Give me your phone. It'll be good. It'll be good. Who's the most important person in your life? I don't know who you are.
Oh, my God.
So there's neediness and then there's neediness, but they will enjoy that one day.
No. I once made a video for lorazepam. Somebody said lorazepam was the most important thing in their life, and I was like, okay, well, I'll make a video for that. Sure.
I've seen it. They air it now.
Yes,
that's a lot of money
at the end.
You missed out on.
And I just want to say, because I have to say this now every time I bring it up, is that if you're having clay-colored stool or any other side effects, please consult a doctor immediately. Lorazepam. I feel like me again. Trademark. Pfizer Corporation. You can bleep those out, right?
No, we're going to get that money.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
They got a lot.
We will not share it with you. You will get none of it.
The clay-colored stool thing really cost them a lot too, because you don't want that. You don't.
Or do you?
Or do you?
You can pass it off as clay in an art class.
If you listen to it if you're on the toilet and you put some Unchained Melody on, and that comes out, you're like, it's never going to happen. But if
my darling. humble for your touch. And Tack is holding you, and you're both on the toilet.
It's
you, Sona.
No.
That's why they have reverse toilets.
Oh,
so you can sit this way.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I've never done this before, but can we just turn off the mics? Just cut it. Just cut
Let's
the whole
wrap
thing.
early.
I used to work with a studio executive who will not be named until we stop recording. And he always aimed it at someone, whoever's talking. Like, whoa.
Jesus.
Over here? Huh? Yeah. What do you mean, Jesus?
I mean, yes, we'll do your idea.
Yeah, no,
If it means you don't point your crotch at me.
I'm going to, for those at home, Conan just went back in his chair and then aimed his crotch at everyone he was speaking to. Yes.
I learned from the best.
Yes, he did.
I do learn from the best.
And that man could use some underwear, I tell you that much, because that also is,
We are in a moment where, of course, politically, there's some tension between Canada and the United States over tariffs. What do you guys send us? What do we send you? And it occurred to me today that we have been getting some of the greatest comedians and comic minds and actors of all time from Canada. I don't think we've sent you shit. I don't think we've exported much to you in the comedy realm. And I think if someone were to do a reckoning just comedically, and you started to add up the Ryan Reynolds and the Martin Short and the Lorne Michaels and the Mike Myers, and it just goes on and on and on. There's too many to even begin naming.
Seth Rogen went to the high school up the hill from me. Yeah,
there you go.
No, Seth Rogen went to high school.
Oh my God, he can read?
Yeah, fluent.
A lot of kids who go to high school can't read.
No.
You can pass.
I had to do a commercial in French Canadian the other day, and it was sort of like a very scary thing, because when you're in those schools, you have to know French Canadian. You have to speak it fluently.
Yes.
And it goes away. It just goes away. If you don't use it, it's gone. So I was trying to do a commercial in French Canadian. It's just like
this
everything.
Is a terrible sob story.
But
you're French Canadian.
It's French Canadian.
You're straight. You should do a really sad tour where you go like, people think I've got it all.
No, yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, but I can't speak French Canadian.
Until I asked for a pastry in Paris. And they're like, oh, is that French Canadian you're speaking? Chocolat pour moi, yeah. Yeah, no, not good. We realized that Canada does have a lot of fun.
But what I'm saying is, you've sent us, and I'm thinking, what have we sent? What have we sent you guys? It's not a fair. There's an imbalance. Bird flu.
Thanks. Thank you.
So there's an imbalance of trade in that respect. And that's about as political as I get. But I think it's got to stop. And it's got to stop now.
Yeah, it's got to stop now. That's a good...
yeah.
I've had the Aykroyd voice in my head all day. You've heard me doing my bad impression, but I can't get it out. It's
now, you've had some...
I can't get it out. Out, kid. I'll tell you what, kid. Fuck off back to Canada.
Dan Aykroyd, legendarily funny guy, but not someone. He's an unusual man. You don't meet a Dan Aykroyd every day, and
one of the more underrated, though, I think, talents.
Oh my God!
Though. Like one of the smartest people you'll ever talk to. But yeah, eccentric.
But we were talking about how his comedic ability to. I mean, he did it on SNL in so many ways, but to fire information out of his mouth with great authority and accuracy.
No one else could do that like him. Like he could pump like half of the movie's boring exposition, make it funny, make it entertaining into your mind in like a third of a second. It was I've never seen someone speak as fast as Dan Aykroyd does. In Ghostbusters, he has a speech that must have been that long on the page, and it just comes out. And you know it. You still hear it all. That's the trick. And I just think I think I'm a little obsessed with him in some ways.
So he invited you to hang with him a little bit, right?
Yes.
But then he also wanted you to take off at some point.
Yeah, you gotta come up here to Ontario, kid. And then we're gonna eat dinner, and you're gonna sleep over, and then in the morning we're gonna do the interview, and you're gonna fuck off back to where you came from. That's what we're gonna do, kid. Bring an extra order Canada pin for me, yeah? And put it on, and we'll do it. Let's go.
You know what I love is there's a reason he made the Dragnet movie, because he is Jack Webb in some ways. I think he is Jack Webb.
Oh,
because Jack Webb, if you ever watch old Dragnets, it's all Jack Webb just spitting out all this information, really square cop, 1960s. These are Bennies. Those are how he has. If he'd have in his palm, he would have a list or a whole bunch of pills, and he would rattle them out really quickly. Those are blue butterflies. You know, and it was hilarious. And then he did the Dragnet movie with Tom Hanks, and he was fantastic at it.
That was back when like the miscellaneous line item on a production report is just like all cocaine. You're like, and then you guys spent $80,000 on miscellaneous in one night. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
That's always the thing. Dan also shows like a thing a bit that John Candy, you know, I think you saw in Planes, Trains, which is where you're seeing a performance. It's heartbreaking, funny, vulnerable, and all the reasons I have always been and will always be very much in love with Mr. John Candy. But Dan Aykroyd, if you've ever seen Grosse Pointe Blank, he gives the most unexpected villain performance I've ever seen. It wasn't over the top. It was just grounded and weird and infinitely watchable. When I finally tracked him down, because he's elusive, I said I owe him money because I've stolen so much from him that I believe I owe him $41 million. Yeah, 41.
Don't put that on paper.
No, not at all.
Because he'll take it.
I heard him jot it down, though. But no, he's just a real gentleman, too. Like, really, you know, just made of good stuff.
And he sells a tequila that comes in a skull.
Vodka. Crystal skull vodka. Because he's really into actual crystal skulls, right? And aliens
and UFOs and aliens.
Yeah, but come on.
Did you try any?
Did I try? I think I've tried everything that exists at some point. You know, try it twice, right? Yeah.
Clay-colored stool.
Yes, that
you can smoke it.
We don't have to go back
Yeah, but
there.
don't smoke the lorazepam. Because I also have another PSA for that, and you don't want those side effects. Oh my God! Or baby formula. Don't smoke baby formula.
Are we going to list things you shouldn't smoke now?
Yes, most of them. When you smoke, you don't know you're peeing anymore for the rest of your life. You're like, oh, it's warm. Now it's cold.
It's warm and comforting all of a sudden.
Yeah, but now
like the womb,
little stingy, little cold. No. But I didn't. I was never big on all of that.
Me neither.
Why I'm like, as I come down a real heavy case of Alive.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a non-alc commercial for like one of those, I wrote one, I haven't figured out how to end it all yet, but like where people do the same things drunk people do, except on their non-alcoholic beverage.
Yes.
A choice where they're like, the next morning they're like, there's a woman who's like, I went out with Gail and the girls the other night and I don't drink, but I had a one-night stand with this guy. And then the camera just shifts over to him and he's like, and let me tell you something, I don't drink either. And I felt everything, and she's like, I was awakened. And basically says, we got crazy in the middle of the night and we just decided, fuck it, let's have a baby. And we just met. I didn't know his last name. And basically experiences that each person has that you would like the groom at or the best man at a wedding, gives a speech that's just fucking profound, and it's not like just the letter L for 5 straight minutes and then like an anecdote about himself. Just nails it. Toe pick, everything. So I've always wished that's like that. It was like the angle. That's the angle. That would be fun with a little.
You could have been in advertising. You missed out.
Yeah.
Because I can tell when you do whether it's Mint Mobile, and I'll give you guys a plug. I think it's a fine service.
That's okay. Yeah. It is a fine service. It's very good.
Your ads are very funny, and I get the impression that you are behind them or steering them because you have that kind of brain. You like to say this is a commercial, but also call out that it's a commercial.
They know they're being. I mean, consumers know they're being marketed to.
Yes.
So don't do.
Yes.
It's not a very special episode of Dharma and Greg. It's a fucking. It's a fucking Tide stick commercial. Yeah. But it's I. You know why I like them, and it's sort of. It's not just me. Certainly, I have some of the greatest, smartest people that, quite frankly, I find threatening. Who I get to work with. I mean, Sean Levy, who I've done 3 movies with now. It's like a brain trust and there's a real, every movies that you sort of quote control are like that. You're not controlling it. They just trust you. You said like, hey, I'm going to land the plane. I remember trying to get my Deadpool and Wolverine movie made, and I just focused on that. I was like, I will return your investment. Like I will return I've got you. Like I am not a reckless, pilot. I will land the fucking plane on a dime. It will be a 4-quadrant. R-rated film. I'm going to make Disney's first 4-quadrant R-rated film. And this is after they said no to 18 different things, including a movie where Deadpool is after the hunter who killed Bambi's mom. They said, we don't touch Bambi. And I said, you said you don't touch Mickey Mouse. We don't touch Bambi and we don't touch Mickey Mouse.
You know what? Given the profits and what you've shown, I think you can do it now.
Yeah,
I think you can.
We did. And it's like, but that's a part of our responsibility too, as people that produce the movie and we co-write the movie and we're act, all those things. It's like making sure it like works. Because I've done movies that are, small films that, are in Sundance and all that stuff. And I loved making them. And they were hard to make. And, they would get great reviews and everything. But then you'd find out later, it just bankrupted whatever little tiny studio made it. And I thought, I'm going to be out of work. They're getting out of work. I got to find a job that fits. So it's a win-win. If I want to do it for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to figure that out. And then it grew to all of it, like all the other things. I loved commercials when I was a kid. Like if you saw a good commercial, it stayed with you.
Yes.
And I was one of those kids like you probably were. You're sitting there 2 inches from the TV and just trying to stay up as late as humanly possible.
Because TVs back then ran on plutonium.
Oh my God! Right?
And
I know.
Face
He's
was melting.
22. By the way, and that is
scarred for life.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. No, it's just
we sometimes turn off the lights in the studio, and I'm a grinning skull.
Yeah, just the teeth whitening has got to stop.
I went to a party recently. It was a rager by my friend Rodman.
Yeah.
He had the tunes bumping. Mm-hmm. It was really fun. And it was special to me because when you get together with good friends, good chums, amigos, pals from the past, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. For me, that's got to be Rodman.
So many cool people.
I have so many cool.
You're just like, so cool.
I do. I have the coolest friends. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the greatest tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975.
Yeah.
You know what I say?
What?
I say it's Miller time. I do. Yeah. It's the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite. Did you know that?
I didn't.
So many times, whether I've been out at sea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On someone's yacht, and I'll crack open a Miller Lite, or whether I'm scaling a volcano.
Oh, yeah.
It's about to erupt, because that's the best time to see a volcano, when you can feel the tremors, and I crack open a Miller Lite. Miller Lite! That's what I'm talking about. It's great taste. It's 96 calories, and I did a study myself. It is 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Conan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
The biggest change for me was Green Lantern, because it was didn't work. And it was I watched a studio throw money at problem after problem instead of creativity. Constraint is the greatest creative tool in the world. And that's why I like commercials, because there's an economy to them. You have to make them quick. You have to be not precious about them. It's a fucking commercial. Who cares? It doesn't have to be a Fellini film. It'll either work or it doesn't, or it moves at a speed of culture. So it's at least relevant. It's an easier way to kind of fix it, but that movie was where I changed my life, because I just saw money.
You saw this is going down, or this isn't, I don't think this is coming together, and they're just throwing more millions at it.
Yeah. And it was really that's hard for everyone, because you're too much money, too much time will murder creativity. You're under constraint. Like the next movie I did was Deadpool, which had a $56 million budget, I believe, which is nothing. I think they probably spent $250 on Green Lantern, and this one had nothing. So you had to supplant or change all of these action spectacle set pieces into movies that you remember the dialogue, not the thing, because audiences also are inured to special effects. The world in danger, I was I love that the characters I don't give a shit about the world. I care about those people,
right?
And no one else. Really.
I've been saying this. I've been saying this for years. I refuse to see a movie. At a certain point, I declared I will not see a movie that has a portal. If a portal opens,
we did use the portal.
I know,
but we did call it the Marvel Sparkle Circle.
Yes. You had fun with it and made fun of it. There are so many movies where clearly they don't know what to do. So what they have is 6 people put the 9 stones together, And then the sky opens and anything can come out and it doesn't have to make sense.
I love that this is your cause because most people are like, oh, politics and kids these days. And you're like on your porch. Portals!
Portal!
I saw another portal today.
Yeah.
It used to be get off my lawn. It's get out of my portal.
A dragon made of fire and lava came out of the sky and punched Captain America, who's a strong man.
Yes.
And he fell down, but then got up and punched the dragon, and it went flying.
Preach, sister.
I'm sorry. I know that there's people think there's problems with racial inequality, gender inequality. There's a poverty in the world.
Don't even get us started on tariffs.
But all of that can be fixed by portals if you'll just allow it.
No, a dragon will come in and smash it all. It's bullshit.
I love the use of it because you could say anything in the Deadpool movies. We just, I loved watching Kevin Feige watch the thing back, got together where Deadpool's like, he's like, listen, we don't have to do this. There's a big fight about to happen, and they're like, no, we're gonna fuck you up, or whatever the line is, and he says, no, I'm not. I mean the multiverse. It's not working. It's not great. It's just been miss after miss after miss. It's been 2 Ant-Mans forward and 1 Black Adam back, and it's not working. And Kevin wince on each miss after miss.
So funny.
And yeah, but then what a sport!
But you make a really good point, which is that I do find that that's what's missing is a good movie gives you a couple of people, and if they're doing it right, you really care about them. I know it sounds corny, but I was watching The Third Man, Orson Welles,
Vienna,
and I watched that a couple nights ago, and God, they had me caring about these 3 people in Vienna in 1948. And I think the movie cost $11. But, oh my God, it's fantastic. And I do think that CGI had people thinking, oh, we don't need that so much as long as, because people really care that portal gets closed.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not sure they do. They don't really care if the portal gets closed.
He's back on.
I'm sorry.
Back on the portal.
I know, we got right back. I knew we were going back there. Listen, the gravity.
Oh my God.
The scene that we've seen so many times where one character is on one side of the glass, and there's the radiation, and it's Deadpool.
I spocked him.
Yes, Deadpool, Wolverine, and it's the parody of that scene. And one of the things that, in a weird way, I got suckered into caring. I was caring about the people in the scene, and then you start fucking around. And
once I did it just to make Hugh laugh, and I swear to God, there's one. It's actually we had to realign my head a couple times because the going down the stairs didn't work quite well. So we were like rejiggering it, trying to get it right. But I just did it to make Hugh laugh. Because there he is, shirtless, hasn't had a carb since the 80s. He's like, oh my God, can we just get through this scene so I can have a bagel? And, I'm fucking around. It's just terrible. A horrible friend. Yeah.
It's so sad. The first time he said it, I thought he said to make you laugh.
I thought so too.
And I thought he was saying, Conan, I put that in just for you. And then I realized, no, he means Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And I suddenly lost interest in you as a person.
Well, I actually had the same problem with the Whitney Houston song. Oh, the Dolly Parton song. But I always thought it was Hugh. I always loved Hugh. And then I was like, wait, you?
No, she meant it. She wrote it about Hugh Hefner. Yeah. Which is weird because it's very sexist.
Yeah.
She likes that he's commodified women's sensuality. I don't know. It's
commodified. That word's come up 3 times today.
It has?
Yeah. I was sitting next to someone who said commodified, and I was like, I think you mean commodified. And he's smart as shit. I was like, so I felt the power in that moment, right? I was like, oh, I have something over you right now, don't I?
No, I knew what I was doing because I've trademarked co-modify.
Oh.
I got you to say it.
You and McElhenney, because it was McElhenney. Robert Copernicus.
McElhenney was walking around here earlier. You guys were working on something in our...
we often use your office,
I let you use my office to shoot a major film.
Yes.
No, one of your, I think for your Wrexham project, you guys were shooting something. And I said, yes, of course, mi casa, su casa, which I believe is, I think that's Spanish, I think.
Yeah, no, that's... No, that's German.
Oh, that's true. Yes, Mein Kasse.
Mein Kasse, yeah.
But it's angrier. Anyway, I saw you when I first walked in. I see you, and I see McElhenney, and I give you a hug, and it's like this is Ryan Reynolds takes good care of himself, works out. I hug you, and I'm like, well, this is an impressive lad.
Yeah.
And then I turn to McElhenney. I hug him. That guy is.
Yes. I know.
Alabaster.
Yes. No, hard as a rock.
Hard as a rock.
Hard as a rock right now. He is...
Just describing it, you're hard as a rock.
Right, 100%.
McElhenney, I saw him without his shirt. How you feeling now there?
Yeah, you guys were expertly lit and in slow motion in my mind when I saw you guys coming together. No, McElhenney, don't sleep on that body. Sleep on it if you can. Happily married though, so don't try. But he's a rock. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So yeah, Rob, I treat with respect.
You better.
With kindness.
Yeah.
Occasional condescension, and that's about it. Yeah. Mostly just those things. But he did say commodified, which is not great.
Yeah, he fucked up, not me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Just finished 2 years of just in the guts of something, with I always think of when they say filmmakers, like Sean Levy is more like a brother. We say we just love each other. 3 movies together. We're going to do a 4th one at some point. But that like filmmaker word is not broad enough though, because like it's so, when movies work, you guys talked about this on one of the shows. I think it was like Adam Scott. How like they're hard to make a movie. A movie's hard to make.
It's
right?
impossible.
Yeah, like everyone has to be excellent, like really and care. People sort of underestimate how valuable caring is. And when you work with a props department or a production designer who in his cells wants to make the best possible. Our Deadpool and Wolverine, Ray Chan, he passed away unfortunately on our last fucking day of shooting too. It was really sad, but it was one of those things where in post we got to put Easter eggs of him everywhere in the movie, but that movie would never have done what it did or connected with people the way it did without this guy. And I consider a production designer a filmmaker. Sometimes a costumer is a filmmaker. Sometimes it's a cinematographer. It's just it's a more vast a pool than I think people realize. There's a lot, like, it's part of why it changed my trajectory when I was at the right time was, you do a movie and you're working with people who, if there's one person in charge and that is it, my way or the highway, you get everyone into a yes sir, no sir. Like when I pitch a joke, I'm always like, okay, here's the shittiest version possible. What I'm actually doing is inviting dissent. I want you to disagree with me, because then we're going to have fun. It's going to get better.
Right.
And you may have an idea that it's amazing that you suppressed because I'm like, this is the way. But it's that pool always has to be expansive, and then you make great stuff. And then it's why movies are like, I was so happy you were hosting the Oscars, because like I think you've now and have always understood the joy of collective effervescence. It's why you work in front of a live audience a lot too, which is why some French.
You make things with people, which is always the magic. This is a group of us. If you have a good audience, you can make them part of it. I think it's coming from a family.
That's another example of why I love this man. And now
you gotta say my name because they might be confused.
No, he's pointing to me.
No, Gail. Cone. Has anyone ever gone Cone?
They've never gone Cone.
Okay, let's not do that. The reason I love you is that you don't punch down. Like, it's not your vibe, and it's a good.
Oh no, I would very much like to be the joke.
These are the best targets. Yes, me too. Like I've done it. I did it once in my life, and I deeply, deeply regretted it. And it was 22 years ago, and it was such a lesson they'll never forget. And I said something on late night, but it was a little bit like when the comedian or the guy with the microphone starts picking on someone, and you're just like, they don't have a microphone as well. It's not fair, and it's and it just that left a mark that I'll never ever.
Yeah, you can't
forget.
If you think you've really hurt someone's feelings, you can't, as crazy as it sounds, and you're in comedy, if you really think you've hurt someone's feelings, unless it's Mussolini or Stalin.
Oh, fuck. How did you know?
You have
George
trouble, like,
you.
You can't sleep.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up and you're just,
wide awake. It was, and the person, it gets worse. I wrote a long note to the person afterwards, and I said, I don't know why that came out of my mouth. And it was because I'd seen them like a couple days before.
Yes,
near the apartment I was renting in Santa Monica. This is so long ago. And I wrote a long letter to him, sent him a case of champagne. I don't know. I was young. No one drinks champagne, right? I don't know. Later, I read a story about his wife saying that he fell off the wagon back in June. And I had no idea. This was before, you don't just Google someone. I didn't know.
So you mocked him, and then your apology was to send him the substance that he had successfully kicked.
Fuck me. I really, and then so that's where I got the lesson to never apologize. Never.
And if you're listening right now,
ground.
Don't apologize.
He's fine and
He's fine
wonderful and may I say thriving. But yes,
I will tell you that I have had the same thing just like twice in my career where I said something, it just slipped out of my mouth. I'm doing a volume business. It got back to me that the person's feelings were hurt and it felt like I had been shot. And I wrote a letter and sent it to them. Like, I'm so sorry that
that means everything. I mean, as parents, you see,
exactly.
Blake and I do that all the time with the kids. If you get down, kneel down to their level and you say, hey, last night when you wouldn't, go to bed and you did all the street art on the wall, I could have handled that better. And I wasn't great. I wasn't good at dadding. And I'll even do the do-over. I'm like, can I try? Can you make some more street art over there, but on the paper, and I will come in and I'll do it again better.
I love that you're asking for a retake.
Yeah, basically that is what I'm doing. I'm imposing.
Let's go again.
Who doesn't want a child actor?
Sociopathic monster.
Let's skip showbiz and just enroll you straight into cocaine right here, and then go into showbiz with all your injuries, emotional injuries. Yeah.
We have to wrap this up because we've kept you for too long, and you're a man in demand. You are one of my favorites. I say that at the end of every podcast.
I know.
Sometimes I'm talking to absolute criminals in jail, yes. And I say you're one of my favorite people, and I believe you're innocent of those 19 murders.
Yes,
which you would confess to.
Jay Leno fell. We were all looking for the Hampton Inn.
You pushed him down that hill.
Who doesn't look for a Hampton Inn when you're a millionaire?
Ryan, you are so fast. You were so fast and so funny and making so many people happy. And I'm thrilled that we could spend time today and hang out.
I've never seen 4 hours go by as fast as it just did. No, I'm serious. This is one of those things where when I could tell in your voice it's time to wrap it up, and I got genuinely sad.
Oh.
Because you were an idol of mine. You are somebody who I've watched and, dare I say, at the risk of overpraising, look up to. And always have, always will, because you're kind, you have integrity, and that doesn't mean it costs you subversive comedy or any of those things. All that edge is there, and it is a high bar you set. You always have. And that's why I did the Jay Leno thing. I fucking snapped. And
I don't know what you're talking about. I forget everything before 2010. It's all gone.
But you didn't forget my wire numbers. Ooh, Cayman Islands.
Ryan, thank you so much, and God bless. I bless you, and I am a god. So God bless you.
Yeah, I know you are a deity. Deus. What is that? Isn't there that?
No, Deus is the thing you stand behind when you talk.
Code-modified.
Well, hey, at least we stuck the landing going out. That's the important thing.
Also, we talked about a lot of Canadians. Thank you for that.
I'm saying, and there's a huge trade imbalance here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to work on that. Yeah. We're gonna have a caucus. Is that what we say? We caucus on it.
Don't do that.
Legislative branches. Your worship in Canada. That's a fun one. Yeah. You have to say your worship. Yeah. To the judge.
Do you have the little honor of Canada yet? Have you had that?
I do have it, yeah.
Okay.
You know who one of the people I think wrote the letter was Lauren.
That's nice.
He's a nice man. I think he won't admit to it.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Go with.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Go with blessings.